I have offered you a simplified version of the outline for the career comparison essay. If you are still working on the research part and you don't have all your quotations collected, you may want to be sure that you have those quotations ready by using the simplified version, at least to start with, so that you can show that you have a quotation for each job and for each trait. So that's a total of 6. And the simplified version checks for that. So you can leave all of the formatting the way I have it. You can just download it and then copy the whole thing and paste it to whatever, hopefully online Office 365 or whatever place you feel confident saving your work. And you can leave the main elements there. For example, leave the Roman numerals. Even next to the Roman numerals, you can leave words like introduction, trait A, trait B, trait C, and conclusion. However, make sure that if trait A is not income for you, if it's something else, don't just copy income and then write about or have your evidence about something else. Make sure that you're not using the templates in a way that shows that you are not actually reading what you're doing. I really am trying to help you as much as possible by offering you these guides, but I don't want you to substitute the templates that I offer for your own thinking about what you're trying to say. I'm just giving you a guide for a way to say it. So do change any words that you need to. If you accidentally backspace something in an outline, for example, oh no, my number 2 went away, I can keep backspacing until I am even with the thing that came before it, even on that same line, and hit enter. That left me with a D. To get it back to a Roman numeral, I hit Shift and Tab, and it put it back in the Roman numeral. You can also come up here and mess with the level list stuff, so you can change the letters if they've gone crazy on you, or the Roman numerals. You can do that by change list level, and you can change these things to whatever they need to be. So if you've lost your Roman numerals, go back and find Roman numerals in your list of options. Same with the letters. All right. Make sure that if you have an A, you also have at least a B. If you have a lower level than that, so if you go inside this hook information because you want to include several sentences, for example, if you have a 1, you must also have a 2. You just can't have a single anything within a level. That will be a question on your final exam, so you may want to make a note of that somewhere in your final exam study guide that you are hopefully creating with the handouts and the notes you're taking as you participate in class. All right, so you see the way the sources are integrated. They are all done the same way. Oops, that should not be in italics. This simple phrase, according to, and then the title of the source, followed by a comma, followed by a complete sentence. That is actually the only complete sentences are here in this section. So do make sure that you read and use signal phrases that work with the grammar of your sentences. Notice that at the end of the quotation, I don't include the period until after the parenthetical citation, and the parenthetical citation is whatever's first in the works cited for that source. Clearly this is a made-up source, but you can see this parenthetical citation goes with this source. Also, for your works cited, look at your previous assignments. If you've had a works cited graded already, make the revisions I have suggested, and then copy and paste the revised works cited into your new assignment. Anytime you quote something in any assignment, whether it's an outline or the full essay, you have to include the works cited because you've quoted something, so you must always have a works cited. It can get a little boring to continue to use the same signal phrase over and over again. So use your SAM student handout, your MLA guides that you've been given, and look at some of the signal phrases and the way they help structure sentences so that you don't feel like you're having the same sentence written over and over again. So to introduce a quotation, you might say, in the words of scholar Tim Jameson, or instead of according to the Occupational Outlook Handbook, I suppose you could say in the words of a writer for the Occupational Outlook Handbook, which would be kind of weird because it's not really a big scholarly thing. But you could use this formatting, which is a full sentence followed by a colon and then the quotation. So you might say, the Occupational Outlook Handbook says that the pay is impressive for, I don't know, teachers, whatever you want to, whatever job you're looking at. And then that's a full sentence, so you would have a colon and then give the quotation. Teachers make whatever teachers make, according to the Occupational Outlook Handbook. You can use a tag at the end of a quotation, but I kind of prefer it not be that way, just because the structure we're using is to introduce the quotations first. So unless you're super comfortable with writing, maybe go ahead and use the standard signal phrases that I have introduced before. So you might say, the Occupational Outlook Handbook points out that, and remember, if you have the word that, you don't need a comma. So that's a different thing from according to the Occupational Outlook Handbook, comma. Having the Occupational Outlook Handbook says that is a different structure. That and commas do the same job, so we don't need both, just one. And then you would give your quotation here. Here is another little website about using signal phrases. So if you get tired of using the same according to the Occupational Outlook Handbook or whatever it is, you can find lots of resources online that will help you find good replacements. So this website suggests, to avoid monotony and repetition, try to vary both the language and placement of your signal phrases. So the according to is what we have pretty much used so far. So to vary that up, you might say, as the Occupational Outlook Handbook indicates, comma, and then give your quotation. Or the Occupational Outlook Handbook states that, and since the handbook is singular, you would have that as states. Be sure to watch subject-verb agreement in your signal phrases. So that's another good way to vary your signal phrases so that it doesn't get monotonous or boring. Here are a bunch of verbs if you want a list of verbs that you could use for possible signal phrases. Those are some good ones, instead of just states or writes or says all the time. You can pause this and write some of those down if those are of interest. Here are some more useful signal phrases. If you'd like to pause and write these down, it's good to have a good variety that you can use and reference quickly as you are working on assignments. All right, good luck with the outline. Let me know if you have questions.